Burnout's a real thing for farmers market vendors. If you've ever felt drained, not motivated, just plain tired of market days, trying to find that energy to get going, even when everything is going well, you're not alone. Every vendor has hit that wall at some point, and I want you to know it's not failure. It's a signal that you need some rest and you need to reset. So, we're going to talk about why burnout happens and how we can bounce back from it stronger. I'm Bill Davenport with Anchored Market Ventures and the Florida Alliance of Farmers Markets. We're your source for empowering farmers market vendors and making more profits and sales. Let's jump into what burnout looks like. An example would be you dread going to market mornings, even when your business is super successful. And it actually doesn't have to be super successful. You just dread those mornings at the market during a period when you're having fun, you're making sales, you're interacting with customers, but in your mind and your body, you just feel drained. You feel like you could be anywhere else. You don't want to tackle the tasks that you have in front of you. It's like you feel like you're running on autopilot. Um, that autopilot, this is what I got to do. You're not really feeling your passions, um, your small frustrations, things that happen at the market. Instead of reacting to them in a measured and appropriate response, they tend to feel 10 times larger than what those problems are. So you react 10 times stronger than what you should have. So you're feeling maybe that anger, that frustration over the little things, but it makes you really want to just explode. That's a sign of burnout. And you question whether your effort in being a vendor or selling your product or interacting with customers is just worth it anymore. Um, Burnout can look like a lot of different things, and most of us recognize when we're burned out. We're just down. Sometimes you just can't really put a term to it, but you can feel it, and you know in your body and your soul, I'm burned out. Well, we can do some stuff to get us over that, to keep us going, reset, and we're going to talk about them. First, let's jump into why burnout happens. Burnout happens for a lot of different reasons, but a lot of it is just mental and physical constraints. We're not setting systems. We just feel like everything is burdening onto us all at one time. You're not doing everything. You're doing everything yourself with no system and support. That's a big reason why burnout happens. Um, a lot of us, we operate in the realm of chaos. So to quiet that chaos and to lessen that burden as vendors and farmers market managers, we got to create systems. We got to say, all right, when we do this step, this is our system from A to Z. We don't deviate from that unless it's an extreme circumstance, but our steps are A, B, C, and D to complete the task. When we have systems built around what we do, it tends to take that burden of stress off because we know exactly what we need to do to accomplish the task. And a lot of other reasons why burnout happens is we just feel like we don't have support. So it's important to build that support system around us, whether that's family and friends, spouses, a business coach. It can be people at church, other folks that are at the market, other vendors. Having support can really help keep burnout at bay. because they're people that you can lean on when you're struggling a little bit. They can give you that outside perspective. Um, when you're working all the time and you're not taking breaks, that leads to exhaustion. That exhaustion leads to burnout. So breaks are very important, whether it's breaks in the middle of you performing your task, setting aside a day of the week, but you got to have breaks built in there. That's you time, that's family time, that's time where you can regenerate rejuvenate your energy and keep going. And comparing yourself to other vendors, that's a big way to create burnout. A lot of times we don't understand what stage of a business or what stage of life another vendor is. So you may be a newer vendor and you're looking at another vendor that's super successful or doing something different and they seem successful. One, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes of that vendor. And two, you may be in chapter one of being a farmer's market vendor, and that person you're comparing yourself to can honestly be at chapter 15 of their farmer's market career. So that's comparing apples and oranges. But when we do that, we create burden, jealousy, resentment, and all of that leads to burnout. And then financial stress. You could be at a slow time in your farmer's market season, so you don't seem like you're making as much income as what you set as a goal or you expect. And that can create burdens and pressure on you, which can also lead to burnout as a farmer's market vendor. Before we jump into how to catch it early, I'd really encourage everybody. We have the Farmers Market Junction newsletter. We're going to have the link down in the description. If you join, we'll give you our 125 vendor tips ebook totally free just for joining the newsletter. It's a great weekly newsletter we put out that goes over farmers market vendor tips, market manager tips, and it's just an encouraging newsletter to help you succeed as a farmers market vendor. So we'd love to have you join us. Cost you nothing, but you get a lot out of it. And if you want some tips and tricks to help you at the market and set yourself up for success, we invite you over to the Farmers Market Junction newsletter. But let's jump into how we can catch burnout early. Things you want to watch for is constant fatigue, you're irritable all the time, or you've lost excitement for doing what you do. Each one of those by themselves doesn't necessarily mean burnout because, just throughout our day, our week, you're going to have peaks and valleys. But when you start feeling constantly fatigued, irritable, and you've lost that excitement, that can be a pretty good tell that you're starting to experience burnout or that you're fully in the burnout phase. Notice if you're skipping rest, you're not doing your hobbies anymore, family time, you're just trying to avoid family time, or you start taking off from markets for really reasons that you shouldn't be taking off from markets because you ultimately don't want to be there. You want to pay attention to when small mistakes feel like overwhelming. When, hey, I forgot tape, it just ruins your day because you needed tapes for tape for your booth to put signs or whatever. When an easy solution would have been just ask your neighbor vendor or ask the market management if they had tape. They probably did. They would have helped you and you would have moved on your way and it was no big deal. But that just ruined your market day. So pay attention to when the small little mistakes or irritations start just ballooning it into huge overwhelm and frustration. And you ask yourself, am I running a business or is my business running me? Running a business just in and of itself creates stress, it creates chaos, and it creates burdens, but that doesn't equate to burnout. But when you start feeling like everything you're doing is running you and not the other way around, it might be a sign that you have some burnout. And then once you've identified that, we can start doing some stuff to prevent it and to overcome and get back to a great spot that's not burnout. So, how do we prevent burnout? You want to build in real rest into your routine, at least one full non-market day per week. I'll tell you, for me, Mondays are absolutely, most of the time I shut my phone off. I don't do anything market related unless it's an absolute emergency. Mondays are a day of rest. We run markets on Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes during the week we run them on Wednesday. Um, Thursday and Friday is prepping everything and getting lineups done and adjustments made. So there's a lot of full time during the week that we handle markets and vendor issues and life issues. Monday is that recharge day that we take. So as a vendor or a market manager, it is super important that you take time just for you, just for your family, for whatever you want to do. You want to set aside one day a week that you just clear the plate, don't think about anything business related, and concentrate on you. Simplify. This is where those systems and processes come into play to help keep burnout at bay. Pre-packed gear. I tell everyone Rubbermaid tubs or some sort of plastic tub are amazing, whether you have uh, your products in them, your emergency kit, your implement inclement weather kit in there. You want to pre-pack your gear. Try to batch tasks. If you can do a couple different things at one time, do that. Or say, hey, I'm going to set out to do these 4 tasks. Instead of spreading them over 4 different days, I can allocate 2 hours and get them all done in one day. Batch them all together, get them done. That way, that stress about getting them done is just taken care of. You've got those tasks knocked out. And that helps you reduce your decision fatigue, because when you're always having to decide, when am I going to do this? When am I going to do that? That adds to just the life burden and contributes to burnout. So you want to simplify, pre-pack your gear, pre-stage, batch your task, and reduce that decision fatigue. You want to focus on quality over quantity. So maybe that's reducing the amount of markets you do and just do your better performing markets, or do your tasks that you gotta do. Set up a quality system so that you're doing them better, and it's lessening the overall amount of stuff that you have to do. And then delegate. If you have a team and your family, your business is a family business, delegate. Delegate your setup at the farmer's market, delegate your admin task, delegate some of the work you have to do, because that'll help you reclaim your energy and reclaim your time. You don't have to do everything by yourself. I know it's just human nature. We can feel that way from times, and no one's going to do it as good as we do it or as good as I do it. But the truth is that will be true if you don't help the folks that you have around you. Train them, show them. And when you delegate, you don't have to worry about it, because they're going to do it the way that you want. And the benefit of delegating task is sometimes you get a fresh perspective on what's being done, and they may have a way to simplify that task or to lessen the burden. So delegating it is important when it comes to preventing burnout. Another thing that's super important with preventing burnout is taking care of your mental and physical health. For me, not too long ago, a few months ago, I had just kind of gotten sloppy with myself. I had let my weight balloon up to 251 pounds. I'm a big guy, so it didn't outwardly, I don't think, look like I was 251. I just looked like a big guy, but internally, it was wearing on me. Mentally, I didn't feel good. Physically, I didn't feel good. It was affecting um, my overall market operations and my interactions with vendors. And to be quite honest, I'm still getting over my burnout because it was creeping in. I was feeling anxious. I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling depressed. I just wasn't in a happy spot. So, this isn't me preaching to you about stuff to do, and I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm actually living it and going through this, and this is a constant reminder that it can affect any one of us. But now I'm down to 212 pounds. Um, I'm getting that burnout knocked out. I'm back in a better place. I let stuff pile up, so I have a huge mountain of stuff that I got to get caught back up on. But I'm creating systems to help get caught back up, and it's keeping that burnout at bay. But your mental and physical health is super important. You want to treat your body and mind like it's a business asset because it really is. You are an asset to your business. You want to eat real food, cut out the junk food. You don't have to eliminate it all the way, but just do stuff in moderation. Cut it out, eat real foods that creates fuel and energy for your body. Good proteins, fruit, water. Cut down the sugar, salt. Sugar and salt's huge. I've cut that out. You want to move daily. Walk, stretching, light exercise, all of that helps to relieve stress and just clear your mind. I've started going back to the gym 3 days a week. I walk, and when I walk, I can sort my thoughts out. I can formulate plans of action. So you want to get some movement built in. That definitely helps with your burnout. And then you want to get good quality sleep. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you need 7 hours, you need 8 hours, whatever it is. Everybody's different when it comes to sleep. Just try your best to get some good quality sleep. You know, a lot of the experts say around that 7 to 8 hour mark. If you can do that, great. Target that seven. But if you're somebody that sleeps on 5 hours, 6 hours sleep, just try to make sure that 5 to 6 hours sleep is quality sleep, that you're not waking up, that it's not interrupted. There's not a lot of bright lights around. So get good sleep. Rest is productivity. It's not laziness. So listen to your body. And then you want to build a mental resilience plan. You want to read or listen to personal growth books and podcasts regularly. I'll tell you, that's a part of my routine. Um, every day I listen to either a business podcast or just a personal growth podcast. I think that's good. Whether you're a farmer's market vendor or not, it's just good for your soul. It's good for your body. You get to see some other perspectives, and you get to see that a lot of the struggles that you're dealing with, you're not alone. They're not unique to you. And you can learn from other folks on how they deal with it and how they overcome those obstacles, and you can apply it to your situation. And then have a mentor. Whether that mentor is a coach, an accountability partner, a friend, just that change of perspective or even just that shoulder to lean on can be a huge thing for relieving stress and preventing burnout. And then step outside of your work mentally. Take short walks before or after the market to decompress. You might have had just a super stressful market. It might have been one of them markets where it just wasn't your day. We all have them. Just a little walk, even if it's just around the block where the market's at, can really do wonders to help clear your mind, get you back into a healthier mental state, and keep you going. Um, you want to separate your vendor identity from your entire identity. I'm Bill Davenport. A lot of folks know me as the farmers market guy, but there's so much more to me than the farmers market guy. There's the dad. Absolutely love the time with my daughters. There's the husband. Love the time with my wife. There's the competitive shooter. I love to shoot. I love to get out in the woods. I love the outdoors. So I love spending time with my chickens. Your market identity is not your entire identity. It is a part of it, but it's not your entire identity. So the more that you can get out of, one little section of your identity and enjoy your complete identity, the healthier it is for you, and the more that you're going to be able to keep that burnout at bay. And then just give yourself permission to pause and breathe. It's okay to take a break. The show goes on. You're not going to fail by giving yourself some time, some breathing room. Trust me, you're going to be successful at that market with your products because you are you. You wouldn't be doing this if you didn't have the ability and the capability to be successful and reach the goals that you've set for yourself. But in that, you got to hit pause. You got to breathe. You got to take a break from time to time. It keeps your business alive and it keeps you going longer. So that's going to move us right into how do we reignite that motivation? So, we've kind of got some steps on preventing burnout, identifying burnout, and then kind of starting to recharge. But how do we reignite that motivation that we feel like we've lost? One of the easiest ways to do that is just to go back and revisit your why. Why is your mission of why you started your business, or why you started your journey, or why you started your booth? When you look at why am I doing this? Why did I start this? It'll reground you and it'll let you know why I'm doing this is bigger than me. It might be for your family, for family legacy, for bigger financial opportunities down the road, or serving your community, making a local impact. There's a lot of reasons of why your why is what it is. Just go back to it and revisit your why. That'll help reset, re-guide you on your motivation. Go back and refresh your booth setup, change it up a little bit, just give it a new perspective, work on your displays, change a little bit. When we break out of the old and into the new, a little bit of change is good. Look at your product line. Are there some underperformers I can pull away, or can I bundle with some of my better product movers to move those slower moving products? Is there something that I haven't brought into my product line that I've been sitting on for quite a while and I was super excited about that? Look at bringing that product line, that product into your product line, and remotivate and renew that excitement for your business and your products. Take a weekend off and go attend a market as a shopper. It doesn't necessarily have to be the market that you attend as a vendor. Take a road trip to a neighboring city or a couple cities away and just go experience the market as a shopper. I'll tell you, when I travel, we try to hit farmers markets along the way and we plan it out. And as a farmers market manager, that really just kind of renews the soul. It helps you see stuff maybe differently than when you're stuck in your booth selling. But attend as a shopper, reconnect with the vendor community, the market community, and reignite that creativity. And then, partner with another vendor. when you partner with another vendor, it helps you with new ideas. You guys can do some collaborations or do some shared events. But those are some great ways to reignite your motivation. It's almost one of those, you got to take one step back to take three steps forwards. A lot of times we hear that, and it's in a negative light or a negative way. You hear something, oh man, you got to take one step back to take three steps forward. Well, that's life, and it's not negative. Sometimes it is very beneficial just to kind of take that step back, because it gives you that room to breathe, to reanalyze, to work on you. And then you're able to take 3, 4, 5 steps forward and get beyond where you were when you were feeling burned out and lost that motivation and excitement. And when you take those 3, 4, 5 steps forward, you're still excited, you're still motivated, and you're doing it without burnout. So those are a few ways. They're not the only ways to reignite motivation, but it kind of gets you going in the right direction. So that's kind of burnout. We all deal with it. We all experience it. We experience it in different ways. Be patient with your neighbors out at the market, because at the end of the day, we never know what each one of us is struggling with. And it can be us next. So have a little compassion, a little patience. Check up on your friends and family at the farmer's market. We notice when somebody's off or they're not having a bad day. Sometimes we don't, because some people are really good at faking it until they make it. But if you're in a burned out stage, faking it until you're making it is definitely the exception and not the rule. So check in on your neighbor vendors. Burnout just means that you care deeply. It's not something negative. It doesn't mean that you're not doing everything right. It means that you care and that you just haven't recharged enough. You can't pour from an empty cup, but you can refill it. And burnout just means that cup's getting empty. You don't need to discard it, refill it. And if any of y'all are feeling burned out or just down and out, you can always reach out to me. You can send me an email, send me a call. I'll tell you, sometimes I'm a little slow at the calls and the emails, but I will get back to you. I put your burdens on my shoulder, in my ears. We'll definitely find a path forward and go from there. But mental and physical health, they're not optional. You got to take care of you. You're your most important business asset. You got to take care of your mind and your body. They're the foundation of everything you do. And then rest, reset, and return stronger. So drop a comment down in the comments below. How do you deal with burnout? Have you gone through burnout? Are you currently going through burnout? Check the links down in the description. We got some different tools and resources available that can help you on any aspect of your vendor journey. And we can't wait to see you guys out at the market.